projects had taken me to China and to India. In between was a slot where I was invited to go to Bhutan by my friend Ben Henretig, who's the director of this film.
I wrote Imogen an email being like, you know, we're going to be there for 2 months making this film and I'd love for you to join and write some music. And she tweeted at some point, going to be going to China and India and may stop over in Bhutan. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like I couldn't believe it, that there was even the potential. A couple months later, there we were in the Himalayas, you know, trekking side by side and experiencing this magical place.
Physically, it was really challenging because we really were climbing the Himalayas. It was really, really hard.
I don't think I've ever been as big as I am right now. I've got 2 pairs of gloves, 2 hats, 5 jackets, 2 pairs of trousers, 2 under pairs of trousers, 2 under pairs of jackets, a bum bag, which I've never worn before, warm woolly underpants, 3 pairs of socks, hiking boots, and a neck warmer.
Other than going to Bhutan because amazing scenery, meet people I didn't know really much about, and to discover a new culture, is also music. What music am I going to encounter? What kind of scales? What kind of voices? I went there to soak up all of this. Yaks and donkeys and all kinds of bells, actually, lots of bells everywhere. Bells in temples, bells from yonder, just lots of bells. And maybe there's going to be some bells in this music.
I'm here in London showing Imogen what we've worked on so far. So little sequences that we've built that gives her a taste of the film and a sense of the narrative. And then she's taking that and she's also taking sounds that we've sampled along the way, essentially as her instrument to make this piece of music, which is incredible.
I basically began by making a list of things which I remember Bhutan with. The sound, like the bells of the animals, the crackling of the fire at night.
Fire sound, shorten.
Almost I've been all day. The footsteps of us walking, the archery that we saw, the water that we crossed, singing and chopping things. Now, I wasn't there when they went cycling, but I'm hoping to get some cycling samples in there too. And so I made these little pictures, and then Kelly, the fabulous Kelly, has gone through loads and loads and loads of audio from the trip and made me hundreds of samples and then mapped them across the keyboard so that I can quickly audition them by just playing them on the keyboard. So that's the example of a small clip that has been taken, lifted from the audio. That's somebody shoeing a horse. And that could be anything. And then I've got a picture here of a kind of a person in a robe, which can represent monks or nuns. I'm going to find what I can in here. And then if there's, you know, a melody which really inspires something, I'm not really going to think too much about it. I don't know if I'll get much done today because we have a barbecue this evening, and it's actually might be the first time I've sat around a bonfire since Bhutan. This is kind of no pressure, just like listening to sounds and letting it seep in, and then tomorrow see what comes out.
I really feel like a kid, like on Christmas Eve, you know, waiting to unpack these beautiful gifts because everything's kind of all wrapped up in a bow, ready for Imogen to jump in and work her magic, and I can't wait to see what comes out of it.
haven't written a lot of film music, but I find it really exciting. So this is all sounds and samples that are from Bhutan. I like the idea that actually very little kind of comes from outside of Bhutan. So when I was listening through to all the samples, one of the things that really struck me was the nuns. I didn't see the nuns personally, but when I heard them and I saw them, I really wanted to get them in there. So I like it because it's in 9/8 or 9/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. So that's a kind of a bar, and then there was a bit later on where they kind of almost did a kind of harmony. So that set the key, which is roughly B flat major, or B flat pentatonic, and then we've got Sonam in there, because he's brilliant, playing his Drangyan, which is roughly in the same tempo, this particular bit that I found. I suppose in a way the nuns and the key of Sonam and the tempo of Sonam and the threshing are kind of all naturally falling into this rhythm. So it feels like it's not forced from my end. It just feels right.
So it's like 1 a.m. or so, and Amy's been working all day, and I can start to hear the beginnings of something awesome. So she kind of gets in the zone when she's working, but I thought we'd maybe go down and see where the track's at. So let's do it.
Hello. I have something to play you.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
This collaboration is a very unique way to blend sound and image. Usually when you're working on a film, you log picture and then you send it to a composer and they kind of take that and write for the film. In this case, we don't have the film finished yet. And so it's a much more fluid dialogue between my intention as a director and her musical sensibility. She's going to create a piece of music that we can use to actually inform how we cut the film.
When you're just making music, just sitting back going, is it any good? Is it any good? But when there's film in front of you, something kind of tells you this is right. I was only really planning on doing one piece. But then I really wanted to help kind of get something for the end stretch, which is one of my favourite bits of the film.
Our journey across Bhutan was an almost 500-mile journey, and we ended in the easternmost village in Bhutan, which is this small village called Sakteng. We started walking up the 4,000 vertical feet to this village, and on our way, we start passing these power poles. And slowly, as we continue up over 2 days, we learned that these power poles were actually meant to bring electricity to Sakteng, and that it's one of the last villages in Bhutan to receive electricity.
You have technology coming to a village, which is the key thing, which is what Bhutan struggles with, is how do we keep intact our culture and our tradition facing the future. And so to have that in a physical metaphor is pretty amazing. I was watching the film and this little melody came out. Do, 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 do. And this kind of repeating note, which is like, what's going on here? We're waiting to find out. just kind of magically, it wasn't planned, one of Sonam's songs that he sung was in the perfect key and just sounded as if it was made for it. Popular music is very kind of done to a click or done in this rigid time. And then there's Sonam's voice, which is kind of outside of time. Everything's very structured and songy on the record, and this is a kind of space that you go to when you listen to the song, which is what I was trying to get when I was in Bhutan. What else have we got? Oh, that's good. I'm looking for different types of sound. So it's like a woody sound or a shaky sound, high sounds, low sounds. So the song begins with the piano and this nice melody, but then towards the end, it's kind of gonna just have these, I haven't decided what they are yet, but these kind of low chords which will come in the background and kind of make it twice as fast. So I just want some percussive little sounds.
I think gross national happiness in Bhutan really is an expression of Bhutan asking what really matters. And I think that's something that all of us can do. And it takes some real looking inward, and it takes slowing down.
For me, that's what Bhutan was about, really. Was about this quiet time, this space, this reflection, this peace. Since I've got back, I've made big changes in my life. Perhaps through the film. The experience of Bhutan, it's finally got to me.